thing that they set out to or to achieve their dreams is consistently those folks are clear about what they want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I did not know that about your story, but to hear that at a very early age, you were like, I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you did all the work and all the things that it takes to make that happen. And I believe that by being clear about what you want, that's the prayer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There are the prayers that are like, oh, I want to be happy or help me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is, I believe our prayers get answered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's those prayers that you've actually taken the time and energy and connected internally with enough to be able to ask clearly for what it is that you truly, truly want so that God can help you.
Yes. And I'm a big believer in not only speaking things into existence, but also, you know, the word says faith without works is dead. And so I think a lot of times, you know, especially now, especially on social media, you hear a lot about like manifestation. And a lot of people think it's just like towards this thing as if you know it's going to happen, even though you don't have any guarantee that it's going to happen. I think that's where the faith comes in, is you can't actually see it tangibly yet in front of you, but you're working towards it as if it's there and it exists. And I think that's the missing piece that a lot of people I feel like miss, is that action that you're putting behind it. That's what shows how much you really believe in this thing that you're saying, that you're putting out there. And so I think maybe my mother and my grandmother instilled that in me early about the power of our words and our thoughts. And you put these things in the universe, and if you actually follow it up with the action, it's like the creator and the universe conspires to like place you in the different positions and places for that thing to happen. And so, it's funny because the people that I know or that I've read about or that I've learned that have been that way, they always get called crazy at some point, because you're speaking things that haven't happened yet, that other people can't see yet, but you're speaking with such conviction of something that's been placed on your heart or inside of you, and because people can't see it yet, they think you're crazy. So say between 65 to 70% of the customer base for Active Faith was evangelical, white Christian. And unfortunately in this country, I never want to paint a group of people with one broad brush, but there's a large segment of that audience that could also be synonymous with racist. And I had experiences that actually validated my fear. So as an entrepreneur, when you're starting something out, you're wearing all the hats. So I'm doing customer service. And I remember being on the phone and a guy's like, man, you sound like you're black. Like, yeah, I am. I'm trying to help you with your order. How can I help you? As soon as I said I'm black, he said, oh yeah, I want a refund. Wow, okay. Had a group that was writing in about potentially investing in Active Faith. Going back and forth over email, we set up the meeting. I'll never forget walking into that room and seeing the looks on their faces, like they were surprised. They didn't know that it was me, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden that conversation completely changed. So many of those types of experiences. And then 2016, during that whole presidential campaign, I would see so many of my Active Faith customers who would be, oh, I'm so glad about this brand that is bold about our faith and, you know, allows me to champion Jesus in a different way. And then I would see the post after saying like the most racist shit. I'm sorry.
You can, I'm from Brooklyn. You
okay.
Say, listen.
Yeah. And like my spirit, it just didn't sit well with my spirit. Like in one post, you're praising this thing that that God has blessed me to create, that is about spreading our faith in a way that is supposed to be, if you read the word, our faith is supposed to be inclusive to everybody, that, you know, because we're all his children. Explosive growth for a business can kill a business, just like no growth for a business can kill a business. If you don't have the foundation. If you don't have the foundation, if you don't have the funding to keep up with that type of growth. So the revenue was growing like crazy, things were growing like crazy, and I couldn't understand, like, why are we still kind of like trying to keep our heads above waters? Because, you know, as that is growing, expenses grow, with the upkeep, all that it takes to handle growth grows as well.